anchor points in your golf swing. What are they? Why are they important? And which one of them should you be using to get the best results in your swing? In today's video, I'm going to tell you all about it. When I refer to anchor points, what I'm talking about is what position on your body are you swinging around. In other words, that position is more or less anchored or serves as an anchor that you can make your rotation around. And I got a fair amount of this information from a past guest on our podcast, the Golf 360 podcast, from E.A. Tischler. He is a great teacher up at Olympia Fields in Chicago. He's been in the top 100, top 50, and his book, which I'll have a link to down in the summary, is absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend it for any of you out there. Mike Adams and Terry Rolls also have their pivot point system, which is very, very similar. So to make it simple, but there are some variations, but to make it very simple, you're going to have 3 different anchor points that you rotate around in your golf swing. You will have a front anchor point, which will be your target side hip. So for me, my lead hip, where I'm going to set up, and one key feature to remember in any anchor position is your sternum is always going to be tilted away from the target, more so than your anchor point. So on the front anchor point, for me, my left hip, this would be very similar, or this would be an example. This would be the stack and tilt method. Very good for people who measure out this way. Not so good for people who might measure other ways. That's why some people can do stack and tilt and have great success and others might not. So stack and tilt or front anchor method would be where you're going to focus your pivot around your front hip. So as you make your swing, your clavicle or center of your clavicle or the center line of your chest will be tilted slightly away from the target in relationship to your anchor point. And from there you're going to rotate, and most everything is going to rotate around that front hip during the course of the swing as you come in impact and then release your posture angles up into your finish. The center anchor point is going to be where you pivot around a fixed point. Either you can consider it at your belt buckle, the button on your pants, or what is more readily done is the tailbone on your backside. So in that instance, you would set up where you're very much centered. The sternum or the center of the clavicle is tilted slightly to the right, so it's behind the button or your belt buckle or your tailbone. And then when you make your swing, you're going to rotate around a fixed point in the middle of your pelvis on the backswing as well as on the downswing. So you can see in relationship on the center pivot, I'm back further. When I was on the lead side pivot, my front left, I was more over top of the ball. Okay, so that's center point pivot. Trail point pivot obviously would be where you're going to pivot around your trail hip. You can see this set up in old pictures of Lee Trevino, so where he was set up, his front leg was angled backwards and he was really sitting on his trail leg. The sternum again was back behind the fixed point that he's going to rotate around. So as he set up, or anybody who's a trail pivot sets up, they're going to be leaned back. They're going to pivot around their trail hip the entire swing, and as they come down into the ball, they'll be behind it, and then they will release, impact, and release into their forward, release their postures into their forward swing. So you might be asking yourself, how do you identify which anchor point you should be utilizing? And that exercise is very, very simple. All I want you to do is take a mid-iron, a stick, a driver, broomstick, whatever you have handy, and go ahead, hold it out in front of you, and I want you to lean over and assume your posture position if you were going to dress a golf ball. You're going to put the club on top of your thighs and you're going to press it there with both your hands. And all I want you to do is make a full rotation into your backswing. And you can either look in a mirror or you can have somebody tell you which pivot point you're actually rotating around. So for me, it's quite obvious. I rotate around my center pivot. If you make the motion and you're like this and you look like you're leaning to the left, that's going to be a front anchor pivot. And of course, if you move to the right and you rotate around your trail hip, that's going to be a rear anchor pivot. So those are 3 different pivots that you can utilize based off your body build, your biomechanics, and how your body will best move throughout the swing that will allow you to hit the ball much better and have a hell of a lot more fun in the process. Hey everybody, thank you for watching another one of our videos. If you found this useful and used it in your game, don't forget to click that like button and let us know down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out our podcast, one of the hottest podcasts in golf, Golf 360. If you'd like to watch another one of our videos or subscribe to our channel, you can do so right over here.